And it reminds me of dietitians. They just, I can remember I was manager with the All Blacks in '94. Laurie Mains, great coach. Real happy chap, Laurie. The players used to call him lemon face, not to his face. But Laurie come to me, it's the first time New Zealand ever had camps. And this is before we went to the World Cup in '95. And they picked 44 players at the end of the year, and they're going to have a couple of camps, 3 or 4 camps they had. So our second camp is in Auckland, 2 weeks before Christmas. Hot, Auckland's hot, humid. And if you can imagine, first of all, Laurie come to me the night before and he said, I'd like you to introduce this dietitian to the team. All these players aren't eating the right food. Oh, yeah. And I thought about it and I thought, Laurie, dietitians and Colin Meads just don't mix. Better you introduce them. I'll just sit at the back of the room and hey, listen. So that's what I did. But if you can imagine 44 prospective All Blacks and they're ready for training after the dietitian speaks to them, they're all in just a pair of shorts. Some with only shorts on, nothing else, but physical specimens. Oh, slouching around, slovenly buggers in a team room. Well, in comes Laurie with this dietitian. She was put together. A little bit thin, I thought. Yeah, you should have seen 44 fellas sit up. Even little Mertz got himself. Tried to make an impression. Well, she just generalised for a start. It was just general, what's good for you, what's bad for you, nothing too. But I can always remember a couple of things that were bad for you. One was sugar. Well, too much sugar is bad for you. I thought, holy hell. And you think back to your days, when you played and that. I can remember, I know it was '61, it was the year that we played the French again. It was a club game on, and I'm waiting, got home from working on the farm, got home for bloody a bite to eat before I go to club rugby. That good lady, they're always late, you see. So I thought I'll try this out. Instead of putting 2 teaspoons in me cup of tea before I went, I put 4. Off to club rugby. Shit, I played well. I got a couple of tries and I thought, that's it, sugar, that's the answer, I've got it. Good for you, strength. Well, by the time we got round to playing a test, 5 or 6 weeks later, whenever it was, shit, I was putting 8 of the baskets. And here's this gorgeous dietitian telling me it's bad for me. So the next thing was bad for you was butter. Too much butter's bad for you. Wow, I thought, bloody hell. And, I can always remember being at home and we'd be having breakfast, and especially the old man was an old bugger, and if we got toast and it was cold, dog bucket. Straight to the dog bucket. The toast had to be straight from the toaster onto the plate, and on goes the butter. Because back in the '60s, butter was butter. It was bloody hard. You got it out of the fridge, it was hard. So all you did was put big blobs all over the top of the toast, and it used to just melt. So, bloody beautiful. And she's saying it's bad for you. Well, those are 2 things I remember. Then she got onto a weekly program. What was, what you should eat leading up to a test next Saturday. She started on Sunday. Well, that was okay. There was nothing wrong with Sunday. Monday was all right. Tuesday, it's getting a little bit rough. She got to Wednesday, and she said, Wednesday night is the last night you should have any red meat. And I thought, bloody hell, I'm a farmer. And if every bugger in New Zealand has something big on Saturday, which we usually do, and everyone stops eating red meat on Wednesday, shit, we're in trouble. Thursday, you ate pasta. I'm just thinking to myself, I can't stand pasta. And I thought, bloody hell, if pasta's so good for you, the Italians would be the best in the world. Bloody useless. Friday, she got to Friday and it was carbo loading. And I I thought, what the hell's carbo loading? I don't know. I'm thinking, my lack of knowledge. I suppose you eat a lot of potatoes, I don't know. And then I got round to thinking, what the hell did we used to have? I can never remember what I had on, we got a game on Saturday. I can't remember what I had on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. Usually fish and chips Friday night. But Saturday, always remember, for test match, for big games or anything, we all had our own little diet. In amongst an All Black team, some of them, like for example, Mackie Hirawini, little wee fella, he used to have 2 poached eggs on toast at 11 o'clock, that's it. And admittedly, we didn't play at night, we all played 2:30, 3 o'clock. It wasn't even night rugby, we never had that. But my diet for Saturday was, I used to have steak and eggs for breakfast. Beautiful. It always had to be at 8 o'clock. And then 3 hours before the game, like if the game was 3 o'clock, I'd have it at 12 o'clock. If it's 2:30, I'd have it at 11:30. I used to have cold meat and mashed potatoes. In the mashed potatoes, you make a hole in the top of it, in goes the butter. Then I'd have my cup of tea, 8 teaspoons of sugar. So I thought, I'm manager of this team, I can't let this lass leave here. And that, not without letting her know I disagree with her. So I sort of got beside her after she'd finished it, and she knew the players, we all knew the players never heard a bloody word she said. They just watched every move she made. Because the following week, Laurie got all their wives, girlfriends, whoever they lived with, they all came up and they got the same message as what they've given the players, this is what they've got to eat. So I took her aside and I said, look, I don't interfere with Laurie, it's not my job, I'm just manager. But I said, I don't believe a bloody word you said. Oh, Colin, I said, look, I'll tell you, this is what I had on Saturday. Forget your bloody Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pasta on Thursday and carbo loading. This is what I had Saturday, just like I've told you. I told her I had steak and eggs for breakfast. And then I had cold meat and mashed potatoes. In goes the butter. And then a cup of tea, 8 teaspoons of sugar. She looked at me and she said, Colin, you don't know how good you could have been. So, you see how the game has changed.